Hello. This is my last storytelling here at the Old Ship Meeting House. I decided to do it here, in the Old Ship Meeting House. This is where I told my first story for Old Ship parishioners, and this will be my last. You may or may not remember, some of you may remember, that the first story I told was from The Little Prince, one of my favorite books. It talks about beginnings and endings, and I talked about the part where the fox persuades the little prince, a visitor from another planet, to tame him. The prince is like, what is taming? Why would I tame you? And the fox explained that right now you're just like any little boy. I'm afraid of you, as I am of all little boys. And to you, I'm just a fox, like any other fox. But if you tame me, you will be different from all the little boys in the world. And I will be different from all the other foxes. And he explained that the way to tame is to arrive consistently, at the same time, every day. He said, if you come at 3 o'clock, I will know at 2 o'clock to start being happy and look forward to your arrival. So I'll be happy for a whole hour. If you came any old time, I wouldn't know when to be happy. And don't hurry. Sit just a teeny bit closer each time so that I can get used to you, so that I can trust you, so that I know you don't mean any harm. That was the introduction of how I hoped to go into religious education here at Old Ship. And the story I had just told to the congregation that I was leaving was about what happens when the little prince is going back to his planet. And the fox is now sad and heartbroken because now the little prince is leaving. They've gotten to care about each other so much. And the prince says, well, you wanted me to tame you. Why did you want me to tame you? Because now you're crying. And the fox said, yes, I'm crying, but oh my goodness, how much happiness we've had. And after you're gone, I will always, always have that. You have hair the color of wheat, and I'm surrounded by wheat fields. Whenever I look at the wheat and see it moving, I will think of you, and I will remember you. So it was completely worth it. So I brought items of people who I've tamed and who've tamed me in the last 12 years. And if you recognize any of it, then you know it was you. I'll never look at a pocket Pema without thinking of Lexi on all our trips when she led worship so masterfully and so graciously. The fun rock that we use at our RE committee meetings, I'll never think of fun without thinking of Deb, because the fun rock couldn't look as good. I mean, just the same as all the other rocks. It had to be sparkly, it had that color, because that is how Deb does things. One of the homemade teacher gifts, I gave one to Juliana, and she kept it on her desk all the time. She loved her homemade gifts. The painted fish, Jessica cannot stop for a second without making art. African fabric, Scott came back from Africa and brought us beautiful, beautiful fabric. I have raised beds in my garden, and every time I'm out in my garden, I know where I learned how to make raised beds. I learned in Appalachia with a whole group of Old Ship youth. Paracord will never, ever cease to remind me of Sarah, because she always wanted to be doing something useful, even when we were on a trip. The first aid kit I got from Judy, because Judy wanted to make sure we were safe all the time. And back there, our coexist flag was from Ori, because Ori believed more fiercely than anybody I know in our principles. And when that flag wasn't hanging, she would make sure I heard about it. There's no way out of the dozens and dozens and dozens of young people and other people that I'm going to be able to say everybody's name. So I wrote down some names. So very, very randomly, without looking, I'll say, Jessica. Already talked about Jessica. Can't make a move without art. Keely. Keely said once that in the summer, when we're not here, she goes and sits on Old Ship's lawn by herself, waiting for us to come back. I will never forget that. If you ever doubt the importance of religious education and youth group programs, remember that. Julie, I was the last person in the world to get a smartphone, and she grabbed it out of my hands and put on Instagram and all the things that I should have because she had no patience with my old person ways. Silas knows more about knights in shining armor than anyone I know. And you have never done art until you've spent an afternoon doing art with Silas. I'm going to do two more. Okay. Ori, already talked about Ori. Jesse helped me clean out the costume room one day. We spent a whole day in the attic cleaning out stuff, and we found some very huge old Bibles. And he was in wonderment about these Bibles. One of them had a big lock, and I loved that he loved that. He went home and told his parents. You just never know what someone's going to be moved by. One more. Libby. Okay, I'm throwing all the rest down, but please know that doesn't mean I don't remember and love you. Libby, ages ago, we were doing evensong, and she went home from an evensong with her mom and her family and said, you know what I love? I love that when we go to Old Ship, it's almost like being home. You tamed me, and I tamed you. There may be some tears, but it was entirely worth it.